Hey everybody, Tony D and Little Joan here with a hot take about masks. I know something about masks, right, doggy? Who was wearing masks early in this whole thing? Who was wearing masks? That's right, me. I was wearing masks very early on. I was probably the first guy in New Jersey, certainly South Jersey, that I was wearing a mask. I didn't put a mask on you because you wouldn't wear a mask. No, you wouldn't. I would, not you. Not you, little dog. You don't listen to anything I say. So I take these next few stories rather personally. I know. So here's a judge who ripped children from a no-mask mother's What? Judge who ripped children from no-mask mothers recuses himself after National File report. Positive progress in the movement to stand up to judicial. Oh, you're killing me, Joan. Activism. Here, come here. You sit on my lap. There you go. So, Broward County, Florida Circuit Court Judge Dale Cohen recused himself from a child custody case Thursday after National File published audio of Cohen railing against anti-mask people and suspending a mother's parental time-sharing agreement for not wearing a mask in a photo posted on Facebook. Now, what is more ridiculous than that? In a photo posted on Facebook, how are you going to wear, what was the woman supposed to do? Wear a mask 24/7 around her son? Please. That is just awful. That he did that to a woman and her son and put them apart. I mean, the kid's 14, according to the article. He's got asthma. Let's see. Joseph later made an agreement with heavy restrictions, including mandatory vaccinations and a mandate that her asthmatic 14-year-old son must wear a mask to get limited time sharing back. What the? I don't think if you have asthma, you should be wearing a mask necessarily. That could be dangerous. That could be very dangerous. Now he's got a comorbidity. I'm sure that makes him a bad risk for being a virus, but. I mean, getting it at all is probably very low for a kid that young. And really, it's the mother taking the risk. This guy, see, this is what this stuff has done to people. It's made them nuts, in my view. Absolutely nuts. And speaking of nuts, Anthony Fauci. Dr. Fauci rips Texas governors for reopening businesses and ending mask mandate. I don't like Fauci anymore. I don't trust him anymore because early on I read about the virus in China before anybody heard about it at Zero Hedge, right? I said, oh my God, this thing has like a 3% death rate. And I looked and I saw everybody in the video in China. They wear a mask. And that's been a long time thing in Asia. In Japan during flu season, they wear masks. They have very low flu seasons. All over the world, all over Asia, I should say. People wear masks. I said to myself, this is a very contagious and deadly disease. Perhaps I should start wearing a mask. And I started to sporadically wear it, and then eventually I got used to it and started wearing it. And at first, people said, why are you wearing that mask? And I was like, and I explained to them the whole deal, and they're like, that sounds like a bunch of bunk. And I'm like, well, it's bad. It's bad. All right, I'll put you on the floor. Go do what you do, dog. And I said, you have to wear a mask. This is very bad. Now, understand, I thought it was a 3% death rate at the time. And no one believed me. And then Fauci comes on TV and says, wearing a mask, that could actually make it worse. That was simply not true. Wearing a mask does not make it worse. If it does, why are we wearing masks now? He was lying. And he was lying because they were worried people would run to the store and wear a mask and then they'd be out of mask, which didn't even come close to happening. The hospitals didn't run out of masks. Yeah, a handful of hospitals in some places, in some areas, they had some mask problems. But, Trump kicked up the PPP manufacturer and it was fine. It was mostly fine. Fauci did not help things by saying don't wear a mask. Because all through the pandemic in the early days, When I would go to a CVS or a Target or whatever, I'd look for masks, and there they were. They weren't out of them. I never saw one store run out of them. But people didn't wear the mask. And some people should have. Especially those, we now know, comorbidity or the elderly. I was desperately trying to get some of my older family members to stay away from, public places. They didn't listen to me. Fortunately, no one close to in my close family got sick. But, some people that we knew, they did get sick, and a few people actually died in that age range. So, it's no joke. I'm not saying the virus isn't real at all. But what I am saying is guys like Fauci don't help. Back and forth. Oh, now wear 2 masks, 3 masks. I don't trust this guy for a second. I think he just likes being on TV and making a lot of money. I think that's his priority. So, F Fauci. New York pilots beer virus passport of sorts to fast-track reopening. Here's how it works. Yeah, basically, it's going to be an electronic passport in your phone, so you could go to Madison Square Garden or some concert or whatever. If you don't have it, they're going to say, F you can't come in. But it's called Excelsior Pass. And it's going to supposedly keep your private information a secret. Yeah, right. Oh, I'm sure it's unhackable. And then it's going to tell people, well, you've recently gotten vaccinated or you got a negative test. Which, I don't believe it. I think it'll be easy to hack. I think people will hack it all the time. I think people will still get sick. I think it will do nothing other than cost people more money, which is the overall goal. It's a way to add a charge that you won't balk at. You'll feel safe. Oh, well, they have this, so obviously I go to Madison Square Garden. Who cares that I pay an extra $20? I'm safe. That's the attitude they want, so they can charge you that extra $20, $30, $40, $50. And track your movements and track your shopping habits and track where you go to be entertained. Because, hey, as long as we're doing this app, well, let's put some ads on it. And let's email people. Let's get all their data, everyone. That's what it's about. I don't believe for a second that's about safety. And speaking of liars, Pasaki defends Joe Biden's Neanderthal insult against Southerners. Now, this is Gateway Pundit, but the first sentence of this article is hilarious. Joe Biden is a lifelong racist and bigot, so it was no surprise when he referred to Southerners as Neanderthals for ditching face masks and getting back to work. That's just a hilarious opening. Basically, I won't even play this. The first take of this, I played it. It's just so boring and stupid. Pasaki is a terrible press secretary. She's just awful. I mean, she had to follow McElhenney, and she was amazing. I've never seen a press secretary pull out so many binders of information and just wallop the press corps with them. She looks like she's constantly in over her head. She's like that supervisor you have to ask a question to, but she's too busy to answer it because things are falling apart around her. And she's like, oh, just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Oh, my God. Well, do this, do that. What's your question? That's who she reminds me of. Beer virus bill gives $21,000 handout to federal employees if their kids' schools aren't open in person. This is from the Democrats, of course. It's the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Every name, the worse the name is, the bigger the name is, the worse it is. It basically gives federal employees 15 weeks of paid leave at $1,400 per week. They have to stay home with their kids because their kids can't go to school. So we have to pay the teachers who are staying at home and fighting to stay home. And now we got to pay the federal employees who have to stay home with them, who are doing nothing. See how that works? See how the bureaucracy works? The swamp takes care of the swamp. That's why every teacher votes Democrat like their life depends on it. 99% of them. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It's a waste of money. But the Democrats know which side their bread is buttered. Oh, we got to keep the bureaucrats happy because they work for us. Us being Democrats, not the people. Mom shares COVID beer virus grief journey after healthy 34-year-old's death. Why my daughter? And this is from ABC News, of course. This is very sad. I'm not making fun of this or anything, but the thing is, ABC News, this feels very exploitive. Very exploitive. It's scaring people. Now, according to the article, she's 34. She was 34 and healthy and died from beer virus. That could be true. It can be true. It can happen in extremely rare cases. It may have been, though, she had an underlying comorbidity that was undiagnosed, or she just got unlucky because viruses do mutate, and if they get more deadly, one of the reasons they stop spreading is because they kill the host. So that it could have been that it got that deadly and killed her, and that's it. It's a shame. It's absolutely tragic that this woman died. Oh, there's her grave. But, this kind of article, ABC News, it's scaring people. She is in the very, very tiny minority. And I don't think, despite this tragedy, that it's worth destroying the economy because more people will die. More people will die if you destroy the economy over this. More people will turn to crime because they've been out of work so long and they've just got nothing else to do. They've got no hope. This is how organized crime families, of which I know something about from my research, this is how they recruit. During desperate times, people turn to crime. Not because they want to, but because they feel like they have to. And once they start making money, after being desperate for so long, they don't look to the future. They know they're going to die. They know they're going to prison at some point. But at least, they're not where they were. And that was scrambling. Living from paycheck to paycheck, barely getting by. And, it's terrible that she died. But they don't really know enough about this virus yet. It may turn out that she had some factor in it that made her particularly vulnerable. Certain people are particularly vulnerable. People who have certain blood types are more vulnerable. Males tend to be more vulnerable. So, I think ABC News, you really ought to back off on this. It's terrible that you scare people. You scare a lot of my older relatives, and I'm not happy that you do. Finally, Trump's DHS leaders slam Biden's welcome for beer virus migrants. Yes, migrants are coming across the border, or otherwise known as illegal aliens. And are they being tested? Nope, they don't have to get a test. How are they going to get a test? They don't have the money for the test. But that should be a condition of getting into the country, at the very least, give them a beer virus test. And if they have the beer virus, you can't let them out for 2 weeks. You have to quarantine them or send them back to Mexico or wherever they're from. Obviously, you probably can't send them back sick. Because other countries, they won't take sick people. Every other country on the planet won't take sick people. Try to be sick and enter another country. They won't take you. They'll isolate you. Now, they might help you. They ain't going to take you. You're not going to be a citizen. In other countries, they have sensible border controls. We do not. Because Democrats think everybody who crosses the border will vote for them. And my theory is they're actually letting in future Republicans. Because Democrats don't speak for the working man anymore. They just speak for themselves. So, it's dark days ahead. Dark days ahead, especially if you're in a blue state. But it seems like things are starting to crack. Some of the now that the red states are opening up, even Connecticut is talking about opening things up. And I think it's going to be the kind of thing where they're just going to all suddenly start falling like dominoes. Fingers crossed, we're maskless by the summer.